14th of January marks a very important day on the West Ham calendar. Today is the birthday of a future legend. And even a current West Ham legend, if you want to think of it that way. The Basmati Billy Bonds, Declan Rice, celebrates his 22nd birthday today. And that is a really good reason to show this video. And no, it's not Taylor Swift's 22, it's this. What's even more coincidental about Declan Rice's birthday this year is the upcoming opposition. Burnley are up next in the Premier League, and who did Declan Rice make his Premier League debut against? Burnley. Albeit it was just for a few minutes, but hey, 18-year-old kid making his West Ham debut, dream come true for him. And since then, the rest, as they say, is history. He's become a West Ham captain, scored 3 quality goals, and has made over 100 appearances. He's also scored an international goal for England, and has made a few appearances for the national team as well. Saying all that makes me sound like a proud dad. But for the first time ever, I want to show you something new on this channel. The opening credits. Burnley, or Burnley, as the locals pronounce it, are one of West Ham's bogey teams. As you know, if you're a West Ham fan, playing Burnley's never really that fun, and we've had a lot of bad experiences with them. We've had that protest on the pitch where the guy stood in the middle with the flag. We've had Roberto punching the ball into his own net, sorry to remind you all. And we've had shocking displays of bad refereeing. And that's going to get talked about in this video, that last little bit. But I'm going to start off this video with the rundown on Burnley this season and the last time the two teams met at the London Stadium. I watched Burnley play against Man United, and I have to say, Burnley's defence is tough to break down. Burnley stood their ground for so long in that game and only managed to lose 1-0. That is impressive against a Man United team that's been in fine form and has now topped the Prem. So Burnley is going to give us a real run for our money. They do it every single time they play us. They just stick to the gun, stay grounded, and don't let anything get past. And that's credit to Sean Dyche for getting that team to play at the top of the Premier League level. And he has done it. He's taken them to Europa League qualification. He's taken them to the top half of the Premier League. He took them on a bit of a fine form streak towards the end of last season after the project restart. And I've got to say, Burnley are a good team. They're not mugs. At all. They have one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League, in my opinion. They have one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League. And they have a good striking partnership that is underrated, yet very good at scoring. Sean Dyche has been a credit to Burnley. He's been there for nearly 9 years. This year marks his 9th year in charge of Burnley. Even though they got relegated under him back to the Championship, Burnley stood by him. And now that Burnley's got these new American owners that have taken over the club this month, he's going to get backed probably. He's going to get backed so far in this transfer window to improve that squad and take them to the next level, which is what our owners should have been doing. So, Mr. American, why couldn't you have bought West Ham instead? We've got a flashy big stadium and everything, and largest digital screen in Europe and all that. Why can't you buy us too? Okay, I just want someone to buy West Ham. I'm jealous of Burnley because they have new owners. That's my point. The last time the two teams met at the London Stadium was after that project restart. West Ham were in decent form. They'd just beaten Chelsea 3-2 and drawn away at Newcastle, and then had to play Burnley. And it was one of the most frustrating games of the season because Nick Pope was like the steel block wall that wouldn't stop anything going through his hands or his legs or whatever. And Burnley ended up winning the game thanks to an awkward J. Rodriguez header, which should have been VAR, by the way, because it does hit his head, hit his arm and go in. And Tarkowski should have been red carded, but anyway, that's VAR for you. VAR and bad decisions, West Ham combined, it's a perfect mix, albeit it doesn't work in our favour. But yeah, Burnley won that game 1-0, Aaron Cresswell had a shocker if I remember correctly, and Burnley ended up surviving in the league because of a good run of form, including that win over West Ham. Well, Nick Pope is the core of Burnley's defence. He is the last line, but not only that, he's solid. He had 15 clean sheets last season and was runner-up to the Golden Glove Award. Ederson won it because he had 16, Pope with his 15, but Pope was in contention to win that for a long time. And he also made the PFA Premier League Team of the Year last season. Rightly so too. He is a very good goalkeeper. When we played Burnley last season at London Stadium, he kept Burnley in it. He frustrated West Ham to the point of snapping. And this season so far, he's got 5 clean sheets. He is obviously in contention to replace Jordan Pickford in the England team should Southgate decide to do that. I'd stick Pope in there. Pope comes up big. He makes big saves. He's tall. He's got good distribution on him. And he's very flexible. He's everything you really want in the perfect goalkeeper. It's hard to believe that he's been at Burnley for 5 years and has only really got his chance to perform within the last few seasons. The centre-backs are key to Burnley. The Ben Mee's there, but the main guy is James Tarkowski. A West Ham target last summer as well. James Tarkowski apparently tried to force a move out of Burnley to come to West Ham, but Leicester were in the mix as well and allegedly bid 50 million for him. West Ham bid 30 million for him. There was a transfer rumour about Leicester and West Ham battling for Tarkowski, but he is one of the country's highly rated defenders and a player that Burnley fans really do love. Tarkowski's a local lad as well. He grew up in Manchester, played for Oldham, went down to Brentford before they became what they were today, and joined Burnley in January 2016. He's been there a little bit longer than Nick Pope, but Tarkowski's a very, very tough tackling, no-nonsense defender. He's helped that team a lot. I think I read somewhere that in 2017 he made 17 clearances in one season, and that was the highest in Burnley's history and possibly the highest in the Premier League at the time. That's why he was given a new contract, and that's why he's staying put in Burnley for now, unless he tries to force another move out. But with Craig Dawson playing well right now, I'd rather snap up Dawson than get Tarkowski in and play ridiculous amounts of money. You know, when we play these bogey teams, there's always one player that tends to score against us all the time, and that is for us the New Zealand international Chris Wood. He always scores against West Ham. He had the brace in 2018, scored a header against us later on in the 18-19 season, scored against us in the Roberto disaster class, and he is a player that Burnley have really got the best out of. Prior to him joining Burnley, he did make one Premier League appearance for West Brom in 2010-11 season, briefly played for Leicester, and then joined Leeds United. When he was at Leeds United, he had 27 goals in 44 goals in 16-17, and Burnley snapped him up for a record £15 million. It's money well spent. Not one season as a Burnley player has gone past where he hasn't scored at least 10 goals, and last season he got 14 goals. So in total for Burnley, he's got 34 goals for them. That is what you call a clinical striker that matched a decent evaluation. It wasn't like Hilaire, who scored 7 goals in one season and was £45 million. Wasn't like that at all. Sod's Law states that Chris Wood scores against us this weekend. It's not trying to jinx it, but Sod's Law says that he will. It's typical that it's gonna be one of the things people are gonna bet on. You may remember a player called Zavon Hines that played for West Ham in the late noughties. He was an academy product striker that made 22 appearances for the Hammers and infamously scored that 90-plus third-minute winner against Aston Villa in 2009. He actually ended up playing for Burnley after he left West Ham. He went to Burnley, who were then managed by Eddie Howe, and made 13 appearances for them, but he didn't score any goals. He had a few loan spells out in League One, and after he left Burnley, he moved to Bradford, Dagenham and Redbridge, Maidstone. He went to Southend United for a little bit, played some non-league football for Bromley, and those were just a few of the clubs that he went to. He never really cut it in the Premier League, so him going to a championship was an opportunity for him to improve and maybe get a few goals. Never worked out for him. If anything, he was a League One, League Two kind of player. He even played for Chesterfield in the National League, And coincidentally, he wore the number 41 jersey, the same as Declan Rice does right now. Hines wore 41 for Chesterfield, for the record. He's retired from playing right now, but he's still at West Ham. He's coaching the under-14 team. When it comes to the score prediction, I keep forgetting to actually give a scoreline. I keep saying win, lose, or draw, but I never ever say a result. So I'm going to stop doing that, naughty. I will say 1-1 at a push. I don't see West Ham trying to play for a win against a Burnley team that stands its ground. It's about finding that one little moment, that one little crack in the system to get the goal, and we have to take those against these kind of teams. It'll be like Everton all over again. Remember how the Everton game, no one really got into each other? I think Burnley's going to be a bit like that in a way. On the other hand, I am somewhat dreading this game because I have seen how bad our track record is against Burnley, and I have seen how they've played this season. They might be low and down there in the table, but they are fighting. They are fighting to turn things around. They have a habit of doing that. We're just going to be another team that they think they can roll over. We got to stop them from doing it. And how do we do that? We tighten up and we go at them with a bit more attacking intent. Hope you enjoyed the new graphics that I put in this video. It's a new thing that I'm doing. I'm always trying to remodel the channel and make it look better and better. If you like the video, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe for more content. And in the next slide, you're going to have all the links to the social media. Can't wait for the game on Saturday. The aftermath is going to follow after that. Come on, you Irons.